I made a boxing game in 24 hours. Recently, Jake Paul fought against a 58-year-old retired Mike Tyson and won. But who is Jake Paul? For those who don't know, Jake Paul started out as a Disney Channel actor.
Heyo, I'm Jake Paul from Bizarre Bar, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh, no, look.
But that was just the beginning. He quickly became a viral YouTuber, pulling crazy stunts and launching music videos, and stirring up plenty of controversy on the way. Then, in a wild career twist, he became a professional boxer, taking on ex-MMA fighters like Tyron Woodley and Anderson Silva at boxing. And then we have the legendary Mike Tyson, known as Iron Mike. Mike Tyson dominated the boxing world in the early 80s and 90s with insane power, speed, and aggression. He became the youngest boxing heavyweight in history at just the age of 20 years old. Mike Tyson came out of retirement at the big age of 58 to fight someone 31 years younger than him. He looks good in the training videos for someone that's 58 years old. Still explosive. But this Saturday, that wasn't really the case. It was kind of depressing after the first round. Alright, let's get started. I'm giving myself 1 day to make this boxing game. I found these gloves on Sketchfab and imported them straight into Blender. They looked good enough, so I decided to import them into the game to see how they look when they were in front of you. Then I added the fundamentals, like the left and right jab, and a basic guard. Kind of satisfying to see the character actually throw punches, even if there are no enemies to fight yet. I also added a physics-based punching bag, because I wanted something else to hit in the game, as well as the ability to dodge left or right to avoid incoming punches. Before we move on to setting up the actual opponents, I need you guys to do something. Subscribe to the channel. Next, I went to Sketchfab and found this model of Mike. Then, I uploaded the character to Maximo Fuse to get basic animations for him. After importing him into the project, I found out that his skin was kind of messed up. After some troubleshooting, I resolved the issue and continued work. I set up the AI to follow the character, no matter where they were in the world, and made them throw punches if they were close enough to you. After that, I wanted to add a map to make the fight feel more cinematic. I added a boxing ring and a stadium that I also found on Sketchfab, and added both fighters to the ring. At this point, I could only play fight against the boxing AI, so next I went about setting up a system to detect if you had hit a punch. Once that had been done, I made it so Mike reacted when you hit him in the head or stomach with a flinching animation, but it kind of felt wrong being able to fight the old AI without it having the ability to fight back.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back!
After continuing working on the project, I made it so he could damage you. I think it turned out pretty good. I then had to do a bunch of different work, making it so you deal damage depending on the different points where you hit. I tried making it so when Mike's health hit 0, he ragdolled, but, you know, that kind of turned out like this. So I went back to the drawing board and downloaded an animation of Maximo Fuse. It now played a knockout animation when he ran out of health, but there were some bugs I had to fix with it, like I had to stop it following the player's rotation after he'd been knocked out. Tested it a bunch to make sure that everything was working and moved on to the next part. I sparred around with the AI for a bit to gauge the level of progress to see how he performed. It was getting late, so that's all I did for the first day of the project.
The next morning.
I set up a crowd to make the fight feel more alive and added sound effects for the audience. The game still needed a bit of balancing, so I decided to add stamina to stop you from being able to continuously throw punches. The way it works is simple. If your stamina is less than 0, then you're unable to throw a punch. Each punch drains your stamina by around 20%, and I also set up a system to make sure it recovers over time. So now you gotta play like this defensive game where you only attack when you have stamina. Otherwise, you might just get your ass beat by Mike. One of the last things I set up was the ability to get KO'd by the enemy. I started by setting up like this blood effect to cover the screen when you were at low health. It turned out decently. I like that he keeps hitting you when you're already down. After that, I just set up some basic UI to load the levels from one level from the main menu to like the actual game, and then gave you the ability to reset once you've been knocked out. If you are interested in playing the game, I left a link in the description of the video. I'm also working on this other game. It's like a marble racing game, kind of like Mario Kart. If you're interested in that, subscribe, follow the progress, or join the Discord.